I am Nic Rohloff. This is the Heat Report by Chat Sports, and it seems like the Heat may have interest in a certain NBA draft prospect. That is Marquette guard Kam Jones. Jones is a four-year player at Marquette that has a lot of positives and a lot of negatives that we have to discuss, and could be someone Pat Riley and company eyes at number 20 overall. The reason why we're making this show is because the Heat met with Jones at the NBA Combine. I'm trying to find out if they met with more NBA draft prospects, but during interviews, people asked Jones if he met with specific teams. He named the Miami Heat. He named the Oklahoma City Thunder. We know there is a massive connection between Miami and Marquette. Jimmy Butler, Dwyane Wade, Jae Crowder, and others. But by the way, it's also a reason why you should follow me on Twitter, because I'll have you covered with everything around the Miami Heat. All right, we'll break down Kam Jones more in depth here as a prospect and if I'd like to see the Heat draft him in the late June draft. But let's set the record for most likes in the week here, folks. Last week, we got 293 likes as the most liked video. Let's get to 300. Hit that thumbs up icon if you love Miami Heat basketball. All right, let's look at the Kam Jones measurements now because, well, at the NBA Combine, he measured in pretty well, if I'm going to be honest. So he is 6'3¼ in his height. That is without shoes, though. So with shoes, he's just about 6'5", so he's got good size for a true point guard. And he's got a wingspan of 6'6", so plus 2.5 wingspan. That will play for a point guard and a combo guard at this level. Jones is one of the best college players last season, especially at that guard spot. I mean, he was projected to be on the All-Big East team. He was. And he was one of the best players in the entire Big East last year, but not just the country, man. He averaged 19 points a game, about 6 assists a game, while shooting 48.3% from the field and 31% from three. A little bit of a tough year efficiency-wise from beyond the arc, but his volume was really high. His usage rate was extremely high. And he's a player that certainly has a lot of intrigue, and I get why there's some fans in Miami that want Kam Jones to be a member of the Miami Heat. And how about this stat? I used and filtered out some statistics here. If you look at NBA draft prospects this year who had a 26% usage rate or higher, 5 offensive box score plus minus, 115 offensive rating, a defensive box score plus minus of +2, and a 55% true shooting percentage. I know it's a mouthful. You combine all those, the only players alongside Kam Jones that have that is going to be first-round picks this year, Nique Clifford, Cooper Flagg, and South Carolina's Colin Murray-Boyle. So it puts them in elite company for this draft class. So that's a A+ if you're someone in the stock realm of Kam Jones. But if you want to look even more in depth, by the way, and look at his historical company, some of the prospects that have the same kind of ratings that we just showed, by the way, Michael Beasley, who went top 5 to the Heat, obviously, in his draft. Blake Griffin, number 1 pick. Kelly Olynyk, a lottery pick. Steph Curry, I don't think I have to describe him. And then Zach Edey, the center who went top 10 last year. So Kam Jones, statistically, analytically, has a lot of good comparisons in terms of his offensive production at the college level. And what say you? Are you interested in Kam Jones? I know my guy Stretch for Bam on Twitter is. Type Y for yes, type N for no. Let me know if you want the Heat to go after the Marquette guard. So let's get into even more on Kam Jones and his scouting report, at least in my own opinion. Watching the film, watching the highlights, looking at the numbers, one of the major positives he has is the fact that he is an offensive creator. He can create a shot from anywhere. He excels at getting into the paint. He's a slithery finisher. He can get to his left hand at any point, whether he's driving right. I will say it's going to be on the scouting report, but he drives right. He's not going to try to finish with his right hand. He's going to stop, turn around, and get to a little left hook shot, which he's very effective at. Good floater game, good strong hand finisher when driving to the left side of the rim as well. Good little step back mid-range shot and can hit some shots from beyond the arc as well. He's a great decision maker. He rarely turns the ball over. Had a 2-to-1 assist-to-turnover ratio as a junior working alongside Tyler Kolek, and then as a senior this past season, had a 3-to-1 turnover or assist-to-turnover ratio. So I like the decisions he makes on the offensive end, but he's also a solid defender. And if you are playing for Marquette, you are playing for Shaka Smart, you're going to have to be an aggressive point of attack defender. He can do that, and I think his defensive ability and his lateral quickness is good enough to still be an average to above average defender in the NBA. Now, a couple of the negatives with Kam Jones. He's not an explosive athlete. Like, I don't expect him to blow by you with ease because he has a quick first step. He's not someone that plays above the rim in a large way. He's a poor free throw shooter, which is a little bit odd. Career 67% free throw shooter. Is that indicative of the true shooter he is? Or is that just an outlier when you look at some of his other good shooting statistics when it comes to three-point and in the mid-range? And I don't think it's that big of a deal, and we know the Heat don't care because they drafted Jaime Jaquez Jr., but he's a little bit of an older NBA draft prospect. He's going to be 23 this upcoming season. And after looking at the scouting report, I want to take a look at what he did this week at the NBA Combine. So he played in one Combine scrimmage, appeared in 18 minutes, and was okay, shot 3 of 9 from the field, 1 of 4 from 3. You saw some of his limitations come out in the Combine scrimmage where he was not getting as clean as looks as he was used to in the Big East because of the athletes and players that he was playing against. So that is certainly something Kam is going to have to try to figure out. He's not going to be able to beat the players like he did in the Big East with his size and athleticism because they're all big and athletic in the NBA. So he's going to have to certainly hone in on his craft. He did put up solid numbers. I wouldn't say excellent or anything crazy, but solid numbers in the Combine shooting stats. Was one of 11 players to go 10 of 10 from the free throw line, which is pretty good. Other players go 10 of 10. I remember seeing Labaron Philon, some up to name a few, but shot pretty well in the three-point star drill, which is pretty indicative of if you are a solid three-point shooter. Shot well in spot-up opportunities as well. Listen, when you're looking at Kam Jones and what he did at the NBA Combine this past week, I don't think he boosted his stock. I don't think he hurt his stock. Like, if you are someone who wants Kam Jones, you probably would have wanted him to ball out this week because right now the projections on Kam, late 20s, early 30s, fringe first round, second round guy. And I don't know if that's going to change after the Combine because we've seen some other players rise their stock. Maxie Raymond, the big man from Stanford. We've seen Cedric Coward, the forward from Washington State. Tahaad Pettiford from Auburn as these collegiate guys improving their stock. I don't think Kam did that. So he might get bypassed a little bit by some other prospects that improved their stock this week. And the athletic concerns, they reared their ugly head in that Combine performance, which might tell me I like Kam. I don't know if he's the pick for the Heat at number 20 with some of the other players that might be on the board. And if you want more Miami Heat draft content in the next month leading up to the June 25th Wednesday night NBA draft, hit that sub button and join us today. It's going to be a ton of fun as we get closer and closer to that NBA draft. So make sure you subscribe and join us today. Now, a fascinating comparison was made by Kevin O'Connor, now Yahoo Sports, about who Kam Jones reminds him of at the next level. He said Dante DiVincenzo. And that's just so interesting to me because I can see the offense. I can. Because Dante, good off-ball mover, shooter, and can leverage that into some drives to the rim and can get out in transition and make plays with the ball in his hands, but as well as a finisher. I think Kam Jones can do that. But Dante DiVincenzo is way more athletic than Kam Jones, in my opinion. He's quicker. He's got a better bounce and vertical to him. And when you look at the two getting off the floor, Dante can get off the floor, I think, quicker than Kam Jones can. But I do find it fascinating that KOC might compare his offensive role at the next level to one of Dante DiVincenzo. But I do think Kam is a better ball handler and a creator than DiVincenzo is as well. So the final kind of word, if I will, on Kam Jones. I like him a lot, but I prefer other players with the 20th pick, especially when you think of guards that could be available. There are about 6 guards that could be in this range for the Miami Heat with the 20th overall pick. And I think there's 4 that I would take over Kam Jones without a second of hesitation. Those four being Nolan Traore, Labaron Philon, Tahaad Pettiford, and Jace Richardson. If any of those four are on the board in Miami front office, they want to go guard, I would go with those four over Kam Jones. But then the toss-ups to where I can get the debates, and I could get if you went with a Ben Seraph from Israel, a Walter Clayton Jr. from Florida. If you wanted to take Kam Jones over Clayton or Seraph, I'm cool with that. But if you're taking him over Pettiford, Philon, Traore, or Richardson, that would be a little bit of a stretch in my opinion. I just like those four athletic ability, shot making, and upside more than Kam Jones, despite Pettiford and Richardson being a little bit undersized for their position. But before we end the show, I do want to know this from y'all. Should the Heat even draft a guard at pick number 20? I think it's a fascinating discussion. Obviously, you can draft a wing, you can draft a guard, you can draft a big man. I think there's a lot of different ways you can go with this. But let me know, should the Heat draft a guard at number 20? Type D if they should draft, type P if they should pass and go somewhere else. Well, if they went somewhere else and went to the wing or the big man area, these are the 6 players I would no doubt take over Kam Jones if they wanted to go with a wing or a big man. Thomas Sorber from Georgetown, Rasheer Fleming from St. Joe's, Nique Clifford from Colorado State, Carter Bryant from Arizona, Asa Newell from Georgia, and Cedric Howard, who's rising up boards from Washington State. I just like these 6 a lot more. I do. Fleming's my number 1 guy. He is. Nique Clifford is number 2. And the point is this. If the Heat keep their pick, which who knows if they will, they could trade it for Kevin Durant. They could make a different deal. They could just end up keeping this selection. If they keep the pick, they will have solid options at the board at 20. They go with one of those 4 guards I mentioned. They go with one of those 6 big men I just mentioned. They're going to all be there. They are. Not all of them, but there will be people from that list there. To me, I don't know if you could go wrong if you're the Miami Heat, and I'm excited to see what they ultimately do from now until June 25th. And we'll have you covered every step of the way. So join the channel and subscribe. Join the Heat Report family. It's been an awesome ride here, and we want to see this channel continue to grow. So join us.